Good morning. The House is now in session. I would ask Minister Sabrina Turner to grace us with prayers.
Let us pray. Almighty God, from whom all wisdom and power are derived, we beseech Thee so to direct and prosper the deliberations of Parliament now assembled, that all things may be ordered upon the best and surest foundations for the glory of Thy name and for the safety, honor, and welfare of the people of these islands. Bless our sovereign, King Charles III, William, Prince of Wales, and all the royal family. Give grace to all who exercise authority in our Commonwealth, that peace and happiness, truth and justice, religion and piety may be established among us. Especially we pray for the Governor of our islands, the Premier, the Speaker of Parliament, the Leader of the Opposition, Ministers of the Cabinet, ex officio members, members of the Parliament, the Chief Justice and members of the Judiciary, that we may be enabled fully to perform the reasonable duties of our high office. All this we ask for Thy great name's sake. Let's say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be Thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The Lord bless us and keep us. The Lord make His face shine upon us and be gracious unto us. The Lord lift up Thy light of His countenance upon us and give us peace now and always. Amen.
Please be seated.
Administration of oaths or affirmations.
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
I think perhaps we should deal with apologies first. It's just that would explain, if we did that now, it would explain why Ms. McField Nixon is being sworn in. I have apologies from the Honorable Premier, who is ill and is unlikely to be here for this week. Also have apologies for the Minister of Tourism and Ports, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, who will be out today but should rejoin us tomorrow. And have apologies for the Honorable Deputy Governor, who is away on extended leave with his dealing with the issues with his good wife. Madam Clerk.
Administration of oaths or affirmations. Oaths of allegiance and due execution of office by Mrs. Gloria McField Nixon, the Acting Honourable Deputy Governor, responsible for the portfolio of the Civil Service, to be the temporary ex officio member of the Parliament.
I, Gloria Michelle McField Nixon, do swear
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. I, Gloria Michelle Macfield Nixon, do swear that I will well and truly serve His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors, and the people of the Cayman Islands in the office of ex officio member of Parliament. So help me God.
Ms. Macfield Nixon, we welcome you again to this Parliament in your role as temporary acting Deputy Governor. Please be seated.
Reading by the Honourable Speaker of Messages and Announcements.
None.
Presentation of petitions.
None.
Presentation of papers and of reports. Signed versions of the following documents tabled in Parliament in December 2023. Plan and estimates for the 2024 and 2025 financial years. Budget statements for the 2024 and 2025 financial years. Purchase agreements for the 2024 and 2025 financial years. Ownership agreements for the 2024 and 2025 financial years. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to table the following signed documents with respect to the government's 2024-2025 financial statements, the plan and estimates of the government of the Cayman Islands, the budget statements for ministries, portfolios, and offices, purchase agreements of the statutory authorities, government companies, and non-governmental suppliers, and ownership agreements for statutory authorities and companies.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a brief set of remarks on behalf of the Premier. Quote, when the government presented its 2024-25 budget in December 2023, that presentation involved documentation that was unsigned at the time, and this is perfectly within the normal and legal manner in which budget documentation is presented to Parliament prior to the start of a budget period. Since December 2023, the process to obtain signatures in the documents has been ongoing. Signatures are often between honourable ministers, official members of cabinet, chief officers, chairpersons of statutory authorities and government companies, and the non-governmental output suppliers. All told, Mr. Speaker, 128 pairs of signatures have been obtained, and these signatures are in the budget documents that I've just tabled. One last point, Mr. Speaker, in an attempt to save paper, only one hard copy set of the signed budget documents has been produced and tabled. One set of the printed documents is approximately 3,422 pages. If any member wishes a hard copy set, the Ministry of Finance will fulfill such a request. Mr. Speaker, honourable members will have the documents emailed to them by parliamentary staff. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Premier. God forbid that anyone wants a hard copy.
2023 Supplementary Plan and Estimates for the financial year ended 31 December 2023. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Honourable Minister for Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of Parliament the 2023 Supplementary Plan and Estimates for the Government of the Cayman Islands for the financial year ended 31 December 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Mr. Speaker, I have a brief statement to read on behalf of the Honourable Premier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In accordance with Standing Order 67-1, the 2023 Supplementary Plan and Estimates, the document has been laid and stands referred to Finance Committee. As the estimates will be considered in Finance Committee at the conclusion of the second reading of the associated supplementary appropriation bill that is further down on the order paper, I wish to make only brief remarks with respect to the tabled document. Mr. Speaker, the 2023 Supplementary Plan and Estimates document that has just been tabled is structured in the following way. Section A of the document shows, in respect of the specific appropriations being changed, the following information: the amount of the original approved appropriation for a particular budget item, the amount of the supplementary appropriation proposed for the particular budget item, and the revised end-of-year appropriation amount for the particular budget item. Section B, Mr. Speaker, shows the document unaudited financial statements for the year ended 31 December 2023. Mr. Speaker, honorable members should use the supplementary plan and estimates as a document that provides more information to each of the items in the schedule to the supplementary appropriation bill for the year 2023. That bill appears further down on the order paper. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, end quote.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Premier.
Cayman Islands Government, Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, Annual Report 2023, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the annual report of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development for the year ended 31 December 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I have a brief statement to read on behalf of the Honourable Premier. Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General has issued an unqualified opinion on the financial statements of the Ministry for the year ended 31 December 2023. An unqualified opinion signifies that the information contained in the financial statements is accurate and can be relied upon. As shown on page 9 of the annual report, during the year ended 31 December 2023, the ministry comprised of 162 staff members, of which 141 or 87% were Caymanian. Mr. Speaker, 69% of the staff members were female, and the majority of staff was 46 years and older. Mr. Speaker, some of the ministry's key events and achievements during the financial year included processing 571 requests for the waiver of stamp duty and import duties at a value of $5.6 million, conducting 27 training sessions on the procurement process, establishing the government-wide contract for computers and accessories, estimated value of $4 million, conducting the household budget survey, which comprised of the survey of approximately 200 households per month, which is fundamental for the updating of the Consumer Price Index. Also, Mr. Speaker, generating $28.2 million in investment revenue for the government's investment portfolio, managing health insurance benefit for 1,008 seafarers, veterans, and their dependents, increased the portrayal of the ministry's appreciation to staff by hosting social events, implementing the ministry's professional language and development policy, which is to guide on the provision of professional assistance and support to employees in order to increase effectiveness. On page 51 to 55 of the annual report, Mr. Speaker, the statement of entity and executive financial transactions shows that on behalf of the Cabinet, the ministry collected $32.8 million in executive revenue, which is approximately $7.2 million above budget. On behalf of the Cabinet, the Ministry also incurred $67.2 million in executive expenditures, which were $4.3 million below the revised budget. Some of the reasons that contributed towards the overall achievement of the executive financial transactions were the land holding company's share transfer charge. Receipts were over budget by $4.7 million due to a shift in share transfer activity. Environmental Protection Fund fees were over budget by $0.3 million due to an increase in post-COVID-19 flights to the island. Property insurance stamp duty receipts exceeded budget expectations by $1.6 million due to an active real estate market, and the cost of general insurance was over budget by $2.3 million due to an increase in premium rates and additional insurance over new properties. Mr. Speaker, the statement of financial position shows that the ministry itself and the financial year with $21.9 million in total assets. Of this amount, $13 million, or 59%, is comprised of cash and cash equivalents, which includes cash on hand, cash in transit, and bank accounts, with a maturity of no more than 3 months from the date of acquisition. Total liabilities amounted to $2.2 million, the majority of which is comprised of $1 million in other payables and accruals. Net assets, Mr. Speaker, are total assets less total liabilities, which amounted to $19.7 million. Mr. Speaker, the statement of financial performance shows that the ministry earned $18 million in operating revenue for the year. Almost all of this revenue was earned from the delivery of outputs to Cabinet. Mr. Speaker, the ministry incurred the same amount, $18 million, in operating expenses during the 2023 financial year of $14.2 million, or 79% comprised of personal cost. The ministry ends the 2023 financial year in a break-even position. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the staff and the management of the ministry for their hard work during the 2023 financial year, and I look forward to the successes in the years to come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, end quote.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Premier.
Cayman Islands Development Bank Annual Report for the year ended December 31, 2023, audited. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the annual report of the Cayman Islands Development Bank, frequently called CIDB, for the year ended 31 December 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
No, Mr. Speaker, this report is self-explanatory.
Thank you.
Annual Report 2023, Sinico. Fiscal year ended 31 December 2023. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the annual report of the Cayman Islands National Insurance Company, commonly referred to as Sinico, for the year that ended 31 December 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a brief statement to read on behalf of the Honourable Premier. Mr. Speaker, the Office of the Auditor General has issued an unqualified opinion on the financial statements of Sinico for the 2023 financial year. During the 12-month period ending 31 December 2023, Sinico comprised of 52 staff members, of which 6 were at senior management level. At the end of 2023, the average number of covered lives that Sinico insured totaled 16,935, which was an increase from the prior year by 3%. The indigent, civil servants, and their dependents and the pensioners group realized the largest increases in terms of numbers of persons over the prior year, with a growth rate of 6%, 4%, and 3% respectively. Mr. Speaker, at 31 December 2023, Cineco earned $143.6 million in total income, the majority of which was derived from premium income for civil servants. Mr. Speaker, Cineco incurred $135.2 million in total expenses, of which $124.1 million, or 92%, was for the payment of incurred claims, which are essentially the health benefits paid under the insurance plans that Cineco administers. Mr. Speaker, total expenses also comprise of $0.25 million in contributions to the segregated insurance fund, $1.1 million for claim administration fees or third-party administrators' fees, and $7.9 million for the administration fees that Cineco incurred in order to operate the company's office, including personnel costs, rent, depreciation, and audit and actuary fees. Mr. Speaker, with the exception of U.S. claims, all claims payment functions were performed locally, which improved the claim paid turnaround times to the benefit of members and providers. In 2023, the total number of claims processed increased by 19% due to higher utilization. Mr. Speaker, as at 31 December 2023, Cineco recorded net income of $8.4 million compared to the prior year of $11 million. At the end of 2023 financial year, the total assets of Cineco totaled $6.67 million, while total liabilities totaled $17.1 million. Mr. Speaker, the government wishes to express its gratitude to Cineco and its board of directors for their assistance and support during this period of review. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. End quote.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Premier.
Mercer Judicial Pension Plan, report on the actuarial valuation for funding purposes as at January 1, 2022, March 2023. Mercer Parliamentary Pension Plan, report on the actuarial valuation for funding purposes as at January 1, 2022, March 2023. Mercer Public Service Pensions Plan, report on the actuarial valuation for funding purposes as at January 1, 2022, March 2023, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House Mercer's actuarial valuation reports for funding purposes of 3 pension plans: the Judicial Pension Plan, the Parliamentary Pension Plan, and the Public Service Pension Plan.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak to them separately or?
No, Mr.
together?
Speaker. All 3 are self-explanatory in my opinion.
Thank you.
Ministry of Education, Cayman Islands Government, Annual Report 2023, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Annual Report 2023 of the Ministry of Education.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak there at all?
No, Mr. Speaker, the report is self-explanatory. Just to thank the staff of the Ministry of Education and, of course, all of our students who perform as brilliantly as they can.
Thank you.
University College Cayman Islands Annual Report 2022. University College Cayman Islands Annual Report 2023. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House 2 annual reports with respect to the University College Cayman Islands for the years 2022 and 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Very briefly, Mr. Speaker, just to thank the staff of the college and all the students for their hard work.
Thank you.
Ministry of District Administration and Lands, Cayman Islands Government, Annual Report and Financial Services 2023 financial year. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Ministry of District Administration and Lands Annual Report and Financial Statements for the year 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This report is self-explanatory.
Very well.
2023 Annual Report, Water Authority, Cayman. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the 2023 Annual Report of the Water Authority of the Cayman Islands.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Only briefly to say thank you to the Water Authority Board, its staff, and for this unqualified opinion. Thank you.
Very well.
Annual Report 2023, Sister Islands Affordable Housing Development Corporation. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Annual Report 2023 of the Sister Islands Affordable Housing Development Corporation.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe the report is self-explanatory.
Very well.
Report and recommendation of the Minister responsible for lands on the vesting of Crown land, Block 13B, Parcel 103H6, to Brian Francis White and Rona Lynn White. To be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honourable Deputy Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the report and recommendation of the Minister responsible for lands on the vesting of Crown land, Block 13B, Parcel 103H6, to Brian Francis White and Rona Lynn White.
So ordered. Does the Honourable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a brief statement to read on behalf of the Honourable Premier. Mr. Speaker, if I may first provide some background. The property was first registered to a company called Diversified Manufacturing Systems in 2003. However, this company, Mr. Speaker, was struck off by the Registrar of Companies on 31 December 2009 on the statutory grounds that the registrar had reasonable cause to believe that the company was not carrying on business or in operation per Section 156 in Part 4 of the Companies Act 2023. Mr. Speaker, this action is automatically taken by the registrar with any qualifying company when annual company registration fees are not paid. Section 162 of this act states, any property vested in or belonging to any company struck off the register under this law shall thereupon vest in the minister charged with responsibility for finance and shall be subject to disposition by the cabinet or to retention for the benefit of the islands. Quote, therefore, Mr. Speaker, ownership of the property automatically became vested in the Crown after the company had been struck off in excess of 10 years. This being the term of years after which a defunct company becomes legally incapable of reinstatement under the Act. Mr. Speaker, in 2022, the Cabinet decided that the vacant property was surplus to requirements and should be sold. 3 valuations of the land to be transferred are required under the Governor, Vesting of Lands Act 2005 revision, 1 from the government's Chief Valuation Officer, and 2 from independent property valuation companies. The 3 opinions of market value are Lands and Survey Department, CI 718,000 Cayman Islands dollars, DDL CI 725,000, and Quayside CI 805,000. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, in 2022, the Lands and Survey Department conducted a public tender exercise inviting sealed offers by a deadline. However, Mr. Speaker, the highest bid received was below market value, and the Cabinet decided not to accept any of the offers received at that time. Cabinet decided the property be remarketed by a professional real estate agent. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, the department undertook a competitive procurement exercise of realtors registered to the Cayman Islands Real Estate Brokers Association. The highest point scorer was realtor Ms. Amber Yates of Century 21. Ms. Yates was appointed in 2023 and widely marketed the property at a listing price of $990,000. Best bids, Mr. Speaker, were requested by the 29th of February 2024. On that deadline, the best bid of US dollars 915,000 was submitted by Brian Francis White and Ronalie White. Mr. Speaker, after careful analysis and consideration of a report on 28th May 2024, Cabinet resolved to advise Her Excellency the Governor to approve the sale of Crown Land, Block 13B, Parcel 103H6, to Brian Francis White and Ronalie White for a consideration of US dollars 915,000. The Cabinet did not waive the stamp duty due on the transfer. Realtor sales commissions at the standard rate of 6% applicable to this sale will be deducted from the gross sale proceeds. Mr. Speaker, I confirm that as required by the Act, the details of this proposed land disposition have been published in the Cayman Islands Gazette on the 12th of June 2024, and a local newspaper, namely the Caymanian Times, also on 12th June 2024. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, accompanying this report are all the documents specified in Section 10.2 of the Governor Vesting of Lands Act 2005 revision, including the valuation reports. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully ask your permission once again to table this report. Thank you. End quote.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Premier.
Report of the Standing Business Committee, third meeting of the 2023-2024 session of the Cayman Islands Parliament, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce and Investment, Innovation and Social Development, on behalf of the Chair of the Standing Business Committee, the Honourable Premier, Minister of Finance and Economic Development and Education, District Administration and Lands.
Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the report of the Standing Business Committee, third meeting of 2023-2024 session of the Parliament of the Cayman Islands.
So ordered. Does the Honorable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Just to say, Mr. Speaker, thank yourself, parliamentary staff, and all members for this report. Thank you.
Very well.
Cayman Islands Monetary Authority, Annual Report 2023, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority Annual Report 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honorable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Very briefly, Mr. Speaker, just to thank the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority for their exemplary work in regulating the top industry of this country, the financial services industry. I'd like to thank the board, all of the staff, particularly the managing director, whose job is never easy on the best of days, and to thank all of the staff that support her for their stellar work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
Auditors Oversight Authority, Cayman Islands, Annual Report for the year ended 31 December 2023, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Auditors Oversight Authority, Cayman Islands Annual Report for the year ended 31 December 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honorable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe the report is self-explanatory.
Very well.
Ministry of Investment, Innovation and Social Development, Cayman Islands Government, 2023 Annual Report, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Ministry of Investment, Innovation and Social Development, Cayman Islands Government, 2023 Annual Report.
So ordered. Does the Honorable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, very briefly. I would like to thank the Chief Officer, Donovan Ebanks, for leading the ministry team through a strong year in the area of investment, innovation, and financial services, and social development. Mr. Speaker, the ministry was able to move in particular along the project for the national EID. We expect that after the work in 2023, by the end of this year, there will be a rollout on a voluntary basis. In addition to that, to test the EID, in addition to that, the regulations under the Financial Assistance Act were completed, and now we're moving to the next phase to make the entire regime operational in this year. So thank all of the staff, all of the HODs in the departments, and all of the officers for their stellar work in the year of 2023. Much appreciated.
Very well.
Government of the Cayman Islands Children and Youth Services, CAYS Foundation, Annual Report for the year ended 31 December 2023, to be laid on the table by the Honourable Deputy Premier, Minister of Financial Services and Commerce, and Investment, Innovation and Social Development.
Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable House the Children and Youth Services KEYS Foundation Annual Report for the year ended 31 December 2023.
So ordered. Does the Honorable Deputy Premier wish to speak thereto?
Very briefly, Mr. Speaker, just to thank the foundation, particularly its board chair, Garth Arch, and all of the employees. It's a challenging foundation, but I believe they set out within 2023 a renewed vision for taking the foundation to stronger heights. Thank them all for their service, and also to the Department of Children and Family Services that acts as their regulator. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Premier. You got a bit of exercise this morning.
Questions to honourable ministers and members of the Cabinet.
Members, as we have passed the hour of 11 o'clock, we will need to suspend Standing Order 23-7 in order that questions can be put to ministers after that hour. Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you.
23-7 and 8, I am advised.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that Standing Order 23-7 and then 23-8 be suspended so questions may be put after the hour of 11 a.m.
The question is that Standing Order 23-7 and 8 be suspended in order that questions may be put to ministers after the hour of 11 o'clock. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. Standing Order 23-7 and 8 are suspended.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, elected member for Georgetown East, to ask the Honourable Minister of Border Control, Labour and Culture. Question number 17.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question number 17, standing in my name, to the Honourable Minister of Border Control, Labour and Culture. The question reads, can the Honourable Minister state when a decision will be made on the implementation of the uplift in the minimum wage?
Honourable Minister of Border Control, Labour and Culture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Since the release of the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee's final report, the members of Cabinet has been debating various approaches to making changes to the existing minimum wage regime, while giving careful considerations to the implications for Caymanians, as well as general economic concerns. After much consideration, a decision was made to initiate the reactivation of a minimum wage advisory committee with specific instructions to investigate and recommend a sectorial approach to minimum wage for the Cayman Islands. At this time, it was also decided that effective 1st of July 2025, employees of the hospitality and service industry will be the only sector to receive an increase in the minimum wage to $7 per hour. It was also decided that the current structure for this sector, whereby 25% of the minimum wage can be made up by gratuities, will be removed as of the 1st of July 2025. For the time being, until the new minimum wage advisory committee completes their investigations, all other sectors will remain at the current minimum wage of $6 per hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Supplementaries?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wonder if the Minister could tell us when this new Minimum Wage Advisory Committee is expected to complete its work and the report to be issued or tabled.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank the member for the question. This is something that we hope to get started as soon as possible.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any other supplementaries?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe I heard him say that the committee has yet to be formed and to commence its work. Is my understanding correct?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, somewhat correct. We will look also towards the committee that just finished its work to pull from members from the past committee also.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, what then now happens with the existing report that's been rejected by the government and no longer no longer being considered?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the report is not rejected. In fact, the report is quite extensive, and I want to thank the committee for the work that they did. But they provided a report based on what was asked of them, and the caucus and members of the government needed more information and data on the sectorial approach. Members felt that we couldn't just do a blanket minimum wage across all sectors because of the economic impact that it may have on Caymanians who may not see an increase in their own salaries.
Thank you, Minister. Anything further? Madam Clerk.
The elected member for Georgetown West to ask the Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness and Home Affairs, question number 18.
Member for Georgetown West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 18, standing in my name to the Minister of Health and Wellness and Home Affairs. Can the Honourable Minister advise whether there are sufficient public hospital beds in Grand Cayman, given the rapid increase in the number of people living on the island since the end of the pandemic?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, answer. I appreciate that the question at face value this question is at face value about the number of hospital beds in Grand Cayman. But Mr. Speaker, it actually alludes to a greater issue, which is that of capacity of our healthcare system in light of our population growth. As such, I would like to provide a more holistic response that addresses both concerns. I have reliably been informed that Health Services Authority, HSA, currently has 104 inpatient beds in Grand Cayman, not including the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, NICU, and the Accident and Emergency Unit at the Georgetown Hospital. Mr. Speaker, Faith Hospital, which primarily serves Cayman Brac, has 18 beds, and while this would seem to fall outside the scope of the question, this must be included as the lack of hospital beds in the sister islands would impact the demand of beds in Grand Cayman. As such, Faith Hospital must be also taken into account. HSA also operates within the overarching healthcare landscape of the Cayman Islands, Mr. Speaker, and it will refer patients to other local private hospitals if the patient requires services not provided by HSA. Thus, Mr. Speaker, the current total bed capacity for all 3 of our islands across the public and private healthcare sector stands at 226 beds, broken down as follows. Georgetown Hospital, 104. Faith Hospital, 18 beds, that's in Cayman Brac. Doctors Hospital, 18 beds. Health City East End, 104 beds. These numbers do not include, Mr. Speaker, Health City's newly opened Cayman Bay Hospital, which will add an additional 53 beds to the total. It is also important to note, Mr. Speaker, that HSA has plans to expand the Georgetown Hospital campus with an additional 11 inpatient beds by the end of 2025. Now, Mr. Speaker, the World Health Organization does not provide recommendations when it comes to a number of beds based on the population. They instead provide us with figures of trends across a number of countries. The current benchmark based on these trends and other studies suggest a ratio of 3.4 beds per 1,000 persons. Based on this ratio and Cayman's population of 83,000 persons, Cayman would require 282.2 beds. This number is 56 more beds than what we currently have, but a mere 3 more beds once Cayman Bay Hospital opens shortly. However, Mr. Speaker, as our Chief Medical Officer reminds us, there are other factors that are much more significant and that need to be taken into consideration when assessing our capacity. Among these factors, Mr. Speaker, are A, relative health of the population, and B, the system under which care is given. The relative health of the population determines the demand for care, Mr. Speaker. As such, it stands to reason that unhealthier countries need more beds and healthier countries need fewer beds, especially as it relates to infectious diseases units, for example. The system under which care is given also determines whether a more preventative or reactive approach is taken, as prevention and early intervention offsets the needs for more beds. Furthermore, recent trends in the Cayman Islands for using minimally invasive surgery, such as laparoscopic and robot-assisted surgery, means that a significant number of cases previously needing extended inpatient recovery time are now treated on a day case or overnight care only basis. While we are constantly looking at ways to strengthen Cayman's healthcare system and to improve the health of the nation, local services on offer are of good quality and generally accessible. So a better test for us when it comes to determining if we have sufficient capacity is not just about the number of beds, Mr. Speaker, but rather by asking, are we denying anyone care because we just cannot admit them for treatment in a reasonable time? The answer to that, Mr. Speaker, is no. We are not denying anyone of care because we just cannot admit them for treatment in a reasonable time. We are not aware of any instances either where care could not be provided at HSA or at a private sector provider due to the lack of beds.
Thank you, Minister. Supplementaries? The member for Georgetown West.
I would just like to thank the Minister for that very detailed response. And I had a few questions, but she answered them before I could ask them. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Minister. I've never heard that before.
Statements by honourable ministers and members of the Cabinet.
I have received no statements, Madam Clerk.
Personal explanations.
I haven't received any of those either.
Obituary and other ceremonial speeches.
None.
Raising of matters of privileges.
None.
Government business. Bills. First readings. Firearms Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable Attorney General.
Firearms Amendment Bill 2024.
The bill is deemed to have been read a first time and is set down for second reading.
Summary Jurisdiction Amendment Bill 2024.
The bill is deemed to have been read a first time and is set down for second reading.
Perpetuities Amendment Bill 2024.
The bill is deemed to have been read a first time and is set down for second reading.
Pharmacy Bill 2024.
The bill is deemed to have been read a first time and is set down for second reading.
Supplementary Appropriation, January 2023 to December 2023, Bill 2024.
The bill is deemed to have been read a first time and is set down for second reading.
Second readings. Firearms Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable Deputy Premier.
Mr. Speaker, prior to Parliament commencing, this was a busy morning, and we'll have a busy afternoon with the bills. I can smell lunches in the air. Would you mind if we take an early lunch break?
Doesn't take much to persuade me to have lunch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We will now take the luncheon suspension. Can I ask, please, that we resume at 1:30?